what exactly the SOC. They want to start into the cybersecurity, so the first option is the SOC.
We talk about layer defenses in cyber, right? And it's not just about cyber. If you talk about history, you talk about kings, you talk about dynasties, right? So they had different layers of defenses. The first one was, you had foot soldiers, and then comes the archers, right? And then there are some other bosses, and then someone else. So SOC is also built on the same philosophy.
Certification or real world apps. If you are hiring a person for the SOC 1, what do you look into it?
So when I look at SOC 1, I look at a very basic qualification on the intent, on the aptitude, if he has a learning aptitude. That is the first thing that I see, because everyone who's coming and interviewing for a SOC 1 role, he should have a basic network knowledge.
One underrated tool every SOC team should use. Let's say someone wants to reach out this cybersecurity architect. Where should they actually start? Either certification or hands-on or something else?
If you look at people who are just coming out of colleges, they do a lot of certifications when they are in colleges, right? So a lot of people, they are already aware of networks. They do CCNA, they do CCNP, they do, CEH and stuff. But if you really want to build a career, I would say you need to work on different security groups, get your hands dirty, work on Wiresharks, open source platforms that are out there, build your own home labs, test your home network, how the way they work. You need to have an understanding of the working of the different networks, the infrastructure around you.
Welcome back to our another episode from the Bangalore Podcast Series. Today we have someone very special from the cybersecurity world, and his name is Anjan. Anjan, welcome to the MK Networks podcast.
Thank you so much.
So Anjan, a lot of things I want to ask from my side and from my viewers' side. So let's start from the very first thing. Let us know who exactly is the Anjan in a layman language, so everyone can understand.
Well, I'm a normal person like anyone that is today. So I've started with humble beginnings myself. I have never thought that I will be a part of cyber. So I never envisioned this really, never planned for it. So I started as a, infrastructure incident manager, where I was focusing mainly on high value threats, or when I said threats, not cyber threats, but it was more infrastructure threats actually. And then those were the times where, you were always under pressure. Okay, at 2 a.m. you're sitting, and working on some incident where you have global stakeholders and stuff, right? So then when you sit at 2 a.m. at night, you are working with global stakeholders, are working on different major incidents, right, which are severe in nature. In one of those incidents, you realize, okay, a few of them are a little difficult or a little deviation from normal, right? Where you do not see a normal server, getting performance issues and stuff. So there are some anomalies which are not normal in infrastructure, right? So that is what, triggered, okay, this is something not just infrastructure related, but beyond that, where someone is manipulating stuff, right? Or something is manipulating stuff. Like, what exactly is that thing? So those things started, intriguing me into this particular field, which I never knew was cyber that time. However, then I started realizing, so because cyber incidents were managed always separately from a normal, incident management, infrastructure it's managed. So then I slowly started working and talking to the cyber teams on what exactly, those incidents are about, how it is different than infrastructure. So that created that curiosity, in me to, dwell a little deep, do a little more research. And then I slowly, from incident management, I moved into one of the domains in cyber, which is the business continuity and disaster area. So it was more of process related stuff, but there is also a very, very critical domain under cyber as well. When I say cyber, under information security. From there, I then got lucky to get an opportunity to run an ISO 27001 risk assessment for a global capability center from India. I got the site certified with ISO 27001, and that is when I got to understand the length and breadth of cyber in detail, because I started to review the entire SMS policy from the scratch. Okay, I went into the work instructions. I went in and checked okay, what are the different views doing? Because I was the face of the organization in front of an external auditor. So I had no idea.
Yes.
So that really helped me to understand the nuances of cybersecurity, which I was not aware before that. And I was just lucky. We got certified with no major NCs, and then they gave me an opportunity to implement, GDPR, that was upcoming during that time for the European sites,
Yes.
manufacturing as well as other sites. And then I was also tasked to implement Azure 7001 for 5 global sites as well across the world. So all of them went well, successfully. We implemented without any major SEs there as well. So then from there, the trust built up with the then leader of the security, and then he gave me an opportunity to move into the cloud security program.
Okay.
So it all was just
Step by step.
and it just landed on my lap. I was just working on one thing led to another, and then another. So that is how the journey into the cybersecurity happened.
So it is not like कि पहले से कुछ plan था कि that यार I'm planning to go for the cybersecurity.
Yeah.
Cybersecurity engineer ही बताएं. ऐसा कोई plan नहीं था.
No, never. I never thought about it. So I was like, if not cyber, then I would have been, in crisis management, dousing a fire somewhere. I always, thrive in, I think, pressure situations. So I think I would have done that.
Correct. Yeah, I was going through your profile. That sounds really interesting. You have over 2 decades of experience. So I have a question from that, but before that, I want to know how did you maintain yourself like this? No one can easily predict that it's been 20 years in the market.
Yeah,
अभी तो बंदे कॉलेज का इस तो नहीं समझते कि जूनियर आ गया.
I get that a lot. The way I speak, sometimes people think, okay, I'm still in my mid-30s or something like that, but that is not the case anymore. At one point in time, I think I really did not care about my weight at all or my health at all. So I was still doing activities, outdoor sports and stuff, but not to that extent that I should have done. And I had actually reached to a weight of around 84 kgs. It was very short span, and somehow I don't know. I have not done anything extraordinary. What I do is I try to play as much sports as I can, because that keeps me motivated. If I just go and do a random sport for the sake of doing it, then I will not feel motivated to do it again. And also, I don't go and hit the gym, just for the sake of doing it. Okay, I need to work on my, body or health and all those things. So that keeps me motivated. That keeps me engaged. And I think the best thing that worked for me is I stopped having, midnight cravings or anything after 8:30 at night. So I think that helped me to reduce a lot of weight. I didn't do anything outside of that, but yeah, I play football regularly, so that's a weekly thing. So it's like I have to be there on the ground every Sunday morning, like at 9, at morning 7.
Okay.
So 7 to 9 is a dedicated type of football.
Sound good. I don't know why, but I've taken so many podcasts. मतलब last इतने महीनों से podcast ही कर रहा हूँ. 95% probably 90% above the cyber guys are very fit. मतलब कुछ cyber security में कुछ ऐसा है क्या that they teach. People are, जब भी podcast में मैं आपसे मिलता हूँ बारे करता हूँ तो probably सभी black coffee वाले और everyone is so curious. मुझे इतना fiber लेना है, मुझे इतना आज मैं fat नहीं लूँगा या मैं sugar नहीं लूँगा. So very curious. They are very very curious about the physique कि कैसा है. मतलब मुझे I don't think so वो सब body builder बनना चाहते हैं, but like they're very much aware क्या मुझे ठीक रहना है. They are way beyond the 40s, but they're very aware about it कि क्या लेना है क्या नहीं लेना है. And this is happening. मतलब I'm not joking. मतलब मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है कि साइबर के साथ साथ people start exploring कि यार body भी something plays an important role.
So I think you are right that way. You have actually hit the right chord, because when I was starting up in cyber or in my career, so if I talk about 10 years back, so people used to have, you see a director coming in with huge tummies. And that is a fact. We have seen it all this, right? We have, and the parties were all about, having grapes, chicken, this, that amount. It's all about food and alcohol to, party well and, work hard and party harder, that kind of thing. But nowadays, the trend has changed a lot, man. So people, they are aware of their presence. When they enter a room, they make sure that the people around them, they look up to them, not look down on them on certain things. And the way you present yourselves matters a lot these days, because cybersecurity is not just about sitting and putting and trying to run Wireshark or any other a security tool set that is out there. It's also about meeting the executives, the business leaders from time to time. Try to understand what is the business all about, because unless you know the business, you will not be able to safeguard it from bad actors. So I think that way it plays a big role. My previous boss, he used to tell me that nowadays it's all about staying in shape, because when you meet with business people, you need to work with them, you need to play with them. So if you're not fit to play tennis with them or co-golfing with them, that's gonna be a challenge.
You're right.
I think that's what God.
There's something in that. So let me come back to the question. With this 22 decades of experience, what do you think about the change, the most in terms like how cyber threats are handled and what has not changed at all?
So I think definitely there has been a lot of scale in how the cyber has evolved. With AI thing coming in is with orchestration coming in, so automation, so a lot of things are coming in. So that way, we have definitely expanded and scaled in terms of not just cyber attacks, but in terms of how to thwart and those attacks as well. But however, the main thing that has not changed is human, the weakest link that we call Anjan. So any major attack that happens, be it ransom or anything, either by originate from a USB drive or as phishing link, right? So someone definitely clicks it or someone definitely inserts it. So we have to change the way they think when we have to secure the systems. It's not about putting in technology, but we have to think about, okay, what can go wrong? Me being a part of an organization, how can I ensure that I'm not that link which is introducing that malware or any kind of virus into the organization, into the organization. So I think still human is almost the weakest.
Like this is like. Can you tell my viewers what exactly this orchestration, which is like in talking about into the cybersecurity?
So orchestration is more about correlating the different alerts that get generated from the same solution. Or same solution is nothing but it is the heart of cybersecurity by operations center, right? So all the alerts they come in a conceive. So orchestration helps to correlate those different alerts from different sources as well, and try to sometimes it's not just about getting the alert from the same solution, but also to understand the behavior. So orchestration helps in analyzing the behavior of a bad actor. It can be an insider threat, or it can be a bad actor which is trying to target your specific industry or your organization. Right. So that really helps.
Great. So, and what about AI in cybersecurity?
So AIML, I think, is definitely coming up big time. However, a lot of people confusing it with orchestration or correlation, which is wrong. I feel a lot of companies they try to sell AIML, stating that okay, see, this is how AIML is doing, correlation, and we should AIML is something as it's an extension to a SOC agent, right? For example, AIML should be used in a way so that it can not replace, and no one can replace humans, of course, but it's an added advantage that can but it means a lot of tuning, finding me. So unless we do that, unless we train it, it serves no purpose.
Right. So in many podcasts, I have already discussed how to start in cybersecurity, but I have a different question from you. Like, let's say someone wants to reach out this cybersecurity architect level, like cybersecurity architect, or move into any leadership roles. So where should they actually start? Is it certification or hands-on or something else?
I would say earlier, if you would have asked me in my journey about this, I would have definitely said certifications. Most of the people they rely on certifications. Definitely, it helps. But if you look at people who are just coming out of colleges, they do a lot of certifications when they are in college itself, right? So a lot of people they are already aware of networks. They do CCNA, they do CCNP, they do CEH and stuff. But if you really want to build a career, I would say you need to work on different security groups, get your hands dirty, right? Work on wired shots. work on Splunk. There are so many open source platforms that are out there. Build your own home labs. Test your home network. See how the way they work. You need to have an understanding of the working of the different networks, the infrastructure around you. And then definitely, these certifications will help to give you that advantage. But if you ask me if I will hire someone with a certification or with a knowledge, I would definitely go for knowledge. So whenever I'm interviewing guys, I would always try to test the knowledge. What is the knowledge that they bring to the table, to the team? How can we learn rather than us making them learn something new? But at the same time, when you talk about going into leadership role, it comes with experience, it comes with exposure, right? So it is not about always trying to go ahead and analyzing an alert and keep it at that understanding of it's a false positive or a true positive. You should go a little step further. You should dig a little more and try to understand what that alert is all about, right? What are the improvements that you make? So if you have to go to a senior leadership level, you should first step into the role of that particular tenant, right? If you want to be an architect, you should always start thinking like an architect, and the title will follow.
Yeah, right. So I am majorly, if I'm talking about my sessions which I do, once in a month or repeatedly, weekly, whatever it is. Mostly people ask me from the cybersecurity that we got stuck into the SOC, level 1 SOC. So what advice you want to give to them? How they can come out of it?
I have seen that in the previous organizations as well, where I've worked. There are analysts who have spent like 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 10 years doing the same thing, just working on it. As I touched upon in my previous question as well, you need to go a little deeper. The changes to the process that you bring, that will bring you that visibility to the leadership, right? So, okay, this is the guy that is standing out and he's trying to make an improve. Okay, he might be our CEO who's looking into that from a different perspective. So it's not just about sitting and doing your day job, but you also need to think through. You used to go ahead and try to figure out, ways how best you could bring in a return on investment. So if you're bringing a new tool, you should also see, okay, why have we got this new tool? What are the additional features that tool might have, which we have not, yet explored? You give 1 hour extra every day only to explore that additional feature might bring in that perspective, might bring in that promotion that you're looking for from a very long line. So I think the lot goes into how invested you are in your journey or in your career.
Following the same question, I want you to explain SOC with your expertise, with your knowledge to my audience. Like, what exactly the SOC? What is the different level in the SOC? Because mostly people jump into the SOC and they want to start into the cybersecurity. So the first instance or the first option is the SOC.
So, see, SOC is all about, the first we talk about layer defenses in cyber, right? And it's not just about cyber. If you talk about history, you talk about kings, you talk about dynasties, right? So they had different layers of defenses. The first one was, you had foot soldiers, and then comes the archers, right? And then there are some other bossmen, and then someone else, then their defense and stuff. So SOC is also built on the same philosophy. Okay. So SOC 1 is a level 1, right? Which is eyes on glass. So they look at the threats being time. They will look at, okay, what are the alerts that are being generated from different SIEM solutions, not just SIEM solutions, from different security tools, right? And then they analyze those alerts and try to understand how many of them are true positive or false positive. If it is a true positive, then they will go ahead and further escalate it to an L2, who will do good deeper analysis. Because when it comes to the L1, as their eyes on glass, they also have to be strict SLAs as well, that they would have to report it within 15 minutes,
Right.
and things like that. So there are some timelines and KKS assigned to them. Otherwise, it's a rabbit hole. You keep digging, it's never ending. So then once it gets escalated to N2, the N2 will go ahead and do an analysis, and then they will say, okay, if it's a true positive or false positive. Once the true positive is identified, then it will get escalated to an L3. Now, an L3 can go ahead and take approach where they will either have to go ahead and isolate a system, or if they have to, go ahead and bring an entire network down, if they have to go ahead and reboot a particular server. So that is a decision that an L3 takes. in discussion with the related infrastructure on an application team. I think all of these roles play very, very importance in the overall SOC operations.
SOC operation. So basically, the job of a SOC one is to just look at the network or whatever the tools they are looking, just identify the logs. They more commonly they work on the logs, and then move it to this SOC 2 and SOC 3. So what different specialization you believe the SOC 1 must have that go on to this 2 and if you are hiring, just let me change my question. If you are hiring a person for the SOC 1, what do you look into it? SOC 2 and SOC.
So when I look at SOC 1, I look at a very basic qualification on the intent, on the aptitude, if he has a learning aptitude. That is the first thing that I see, because everyone who's coming and interviewing for a SOC 1 role, he should have the basic network knowledge. That's what I'm looking at. I'm not looking at big certifications like, he needs to be certified with, let's say, CEH and things like that. But at least he should have knowledge. So I will try to test the knowledge on how much basic knowledge that he has. Can he look at alerts? Can he identify those alerts? Can he understand, okay, there is a deviation from the threshold, right? If he has the attitude to learn new tools, techniques, right? So that is what I'm going to look at when I'm hiring SOC. That's pretty much. When I talk about SOC 2 too, I will ask him real-time questions, real-time scenarios. Okay, if a particular situation happens to I talk about a real case scenario of an alert, right? So I will give him real examples and try to understand what is rational behind that particular alert, how it has been categorized or how it is to be categorized as a true positive or a false positive. What are the factors that needs to be considered? So I would want to understand his experience in analyzing or dissecting a particular alert and putting it out there in open for everyone else to see. What is it all about?
You're like, any certification you look for this SOC 2 hai?
Not necessarily, but yeah, definitely they should have knowledge on Wiresharknesses and definitely CEH is something which is more theory rather than technical. But they should have CCNA so that they know about networks to us. It is very important for cybersecurity. You can do that. And of course, if they have coding skills like Python and all, that would be definitely an added advantage wherein, they can bring in the additional arsenal to the team. Plus, security plus is something I would definitely recommend because it is a little bit of technical as well as it touches upon the different procedural and, policies that are out there.
Okay, and SOC 3?
SOC 3 again. So it depends what exactly are we looking at. So when I talk about SOC 3, they should have a mix of different tools, as in, let's say if I have a SIM solution, they should have certification in the SIM solution. If I'm talking about, next gen firewall, they should know about a firewall, right? When I talk about IDS, IPS, they should have some kind of certification or knowledge on working on those particular proxies and reverse proxy stuff like that. So definitely I would look at, some, very, very product specific certifications. But again, there are people who look at product agnostic certifications as well, like CISSP or CCSP and stuff. But they might give you a holistic knowledge, but when you have to actually work in a security operations center, you also should be hands-on on what exactly are the tools that you're working.
Correct. So if a candidate coming from this network background, network security background, how fruitful is the profile for you for SOC 1, 2 or 3?
Oh, absolutely. It definitely helps because someone coming from networks bring a lot of experience, from them and with them rather. And they definitely provide an edge over other people who do not have a networking background, for sure.
Great. And this is indeed actually, this is what I do. So I asked. So my next question, which we have noticed, you have implemented AI-driven cybersecurity as per your profile, AI-driven cybersecurity platforms. So how much is the real and scalable today versus buzzword that companies like throw around?
So see, it is real. I would not say it is not real. So when I talk about AI, ML, most of the SIN solutions, which are the heart of the security operations center, they work on AI and ML, right? So when I say AI, artificial learning, they would try to go ahead and correlate different kind of signals, the trends that are there. So they do that analysis, and that analysis is based on machine learning as well as artificial intelligence, because there are so many different, products out there when it comes to something, an alert coming from an Active Directory, an alert coming from a different system that particular same. So understand like there's an insider threat. There's a bad actor in your organization. Now, how will you understand that he's a bad actor? So you will have to look and create a profile for him. So you will take things from Active Directory. You will take things from the different websites that he's visiting. You will see, okay, what are the emails that he's sending, the email communication stuff, right? What are the applications he's downloading or he's accessing, right? So all these things, the social media that he has. So it's very difficult for a SOC analyst or for few systems to go ahead and check all these. So that is where AI/ML comes in.
Right.
They bring in that particular expertise. They bring in that, the next level edge that you're looking at. But at the same time, there are very, very specific stuff like correlation, as I touched upon earlier. And few of the companies, they sell AI/ML in a different way altogether. They will compare it with LLMs and, ChatGPTs of the world. They also talk about agentic AIs, which might not be existing or, provide that edge or level that we are looking for when we are trying to carry onboarded security operations here.
So my next question is very relatable to someone who's already having the experience, because this two things, zero trust and DevSecurity Ops, are bigger nowadays. So can you just let us know about this products, what exactly it is?
So first of all, let me just clarify, these are not products.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
My mistake.
So when we talk about zero trust, when we talk about DevSecOps, right? So this is more of a mindset. This is more of an approach that organizations need to take. Most of the organizations these days, they think that, okay, they buy a product, they bring in, they implement, and zero trust architecture is built, and that's it. They're done different. Same with DevSecOps, they will go ahead and buy some particular product and they think, okay, we will just implement it as a checkbox and it will do a particular security testing, and that's it. But that is not the case.
There is no zero trust. Huh?
There is no zero trust. So basically, how it happens is you need to break that culture of zero trust, right? You need to ensure, like, even if you implement a particular solution or a product and you are sharing access across a different, business lines, which should not have access to that particular database, then there's no point of bringing any solution, right? So it's a more of a mindset. Same with DevSecOps. So when you talk about DevSecOps, you should also think about the shift left approach or the mindset. And what does that mean is it will bring in different security practices when a particular developer is trying to build an application right from sprint to one. So they need to have that particular mindset that, okay, fine, I need to think left and I need to ensure that security is built into that particular pipeline from the first sprint itself. So that, later we don't build something which is
Easily vulnerable at
what to do.
Excellent. So, like, this is something very important to ask you. Like, what's one Bangalore specific trend you have noticed that people outside the city might not even be aware of?
Okay, a little difficult, but at the same time, I think I have seen a rising trend in OT security that is in Bangalore because of the nature of the business that is thriving in Bangalore, right? So we have big pharma companies, we have big fintechs, we have big manufacturing who are running their operational or GCCs from Bangalore, right? So there is a lot of entrepreneur mindset that is there in Bangalore. And I think now it's more about getting your production line secured.
Yes.
Right? And people might not be aware of, but Bangalore is catching up. And it's not just catching up. I think Bangalore is at already at a level where the other cities in India are catching up big time. So they need to do a lot of catch up. And Bangalore is already there, I guess.
Yeah. So, like, can you just talk about a little bit about OT cybersecurity so my audience should know?
So OT is nothing but, so for example, we have manufacturing line. Manufacturing lines, I will talk about, say, a particular manufacturing business where they bake, ship and sell. So they have production lines in there where they will go ahead and produce, say, biscuits. They can produce, when it comes to automobile, they go ahead and produce cars. When it comes to phones, they go ahead and assemble the phones. So there are manufacturing lines that are in there. They work on different platforms in OT that can be SCADA, and other such kind of platforms. And those platforms, the normal security tools that we have today, those might or might not work to secure those particular platforms. And these days, attackers are trying to, take advantage of that and target those specific platforms so that they can go ahead and ask for more ransom. They can blackmail big organizations
Yes.
to do that. So that is OT in itself. So those are different level of networks that we are talking about. Normal, it's not a normal infrastructure that we like.
Although we have done a separate podcast on the OD cybersecurity, so you can watch that podcast after this. OD has explained about the Bangalore trend. So you already work with the global clients and a lot of things. So a lot of people in this domain wants to work abroad. What message you want to give them is that how they can approach the companies outside India if they want to go?
So first of all, what I would say is they need to build up their skill. When I say build up their skill, not just in technology, but mindset. They need to think outside of cyber as well. They need to think about their culture. So if they plan to go ahead and relocate to a particular region, they need to understand what is the culture that exists there, and they need to embrace it. They need so that they can speak the language, not exactly the language as in what they speak, but they need to at least understand or be able to communicate well, right? So it is very important. The other factor that I feel is very, very important is the different regulations that are out there. So if you are trying to go to US, you should know, okay, what are the different frameworks that are out there? Right. If you talk about Australia, okay, what are the different frameworks that are out there? Europe is a different framework altogether. So you should be aware of those kind of regulations wherever you plan to, build your career. So I think these are very, very important. And third is when we talk about communication, we should also try to, be able to lead from the front, right? So you need to go and think outside the box a little bit, which I think we gives you an image face. So I think the ball is up there to explore.
Exactly. So did you try to, settle? Why don't you try to settle down abroad?
I had an opportunity, I would say it was not there. I chose India during the time because of a very personal reasons. But given a chance, I would say India is better, but I don't have to think twice before I get out of the house. Because okay, it's safe. If I go to let's say US or UK, I might not know the neighborhood, right? So I will be very cautious on the approach that I take. I will have to think and do a proper research. If I have to go from point A to point B, what are the routes that I need to take? So that way, I think it puts a lot less pressure to me, but at the same time, the earning capability or capacity working abroad is huge, which I feel needs to be explored as well or not.
Somewhere, yes, you're okay with that, both options. I'm happy in India and I'm okay to go abroad as well. So what message you want to give to the newcomer or someone who's trying to enter into the cybersecurity with the working somewhere else? In the previous podcast, I've explained many times whether you're coming with any background, IT, non-IT, you can enter into the cybersecurity. I know my audience is already aware of it. Now, what's your suggestion? What's your call on it? Like if they want to get as a fresher or coming with some experience, what is the best approach to enter into the cybersecurity in any vertical? What is your recommendation?
See, I would say it doesn't depend if you are BCom, PA, PSC, or an engineer. Doesn't really matter much because you should have the right attitude to the right skill set. And skill set gets developed when you work with or when you get your hands dirty. A doctor cannot go ahead and operate on it. He really operates on that patient before.
Yes.
So you need to work with different tools. You need to have your own labs. You need to understand the teacher, the different systems who work around you. And definitely you can enter cybersecurity at any point in time. You should be focused on joining those communities and contribute to those platforms and communities. That way you have the right visibility, the right recruiters. They are now looking at these kind of platforms these days to see, okay, where can they get the right talent from? Right. So people are out there who are searching, who are looking for the right talent when they are not getting. So I think these are the areas which I feel that if people go a little above and beyond their comfort zone and
try to understand, to learn a little bit about, okay, how the ransomware works. What can we do differently? That will definitely give them that edge to get hired faster.
Okay. So, which vertical you would recommend them? Because cybersecurity has come up with multiple options. So, which is the higher? What you have noticed in as per the trade, the concepts of right? कहाँ पे जाना चाहिए?
I would say it's not about always coding, but see, cybersecurity, we have different, what I would say, domains inside. You can start cyber either from the BCDR, like I have done, or you can start cyber from the SOC. You can start cyber from network security as well, which is, I think, most of the people, they are currently moving from the network background and then moving to cyber. That is the threat that I see a lot. And definitely GRC is something, third party risk, which sometimes people feel that, okay, I cannot enter cyber. That is not the case. That is also an area which is unexplored to a greater extent, but nowadays companies are looking at that to mitigate the third party risk, because most of the attacks that happen is because of third parties. So I think there are different ways, different areas through which you can enter cyber. There is not a perfect or a single path to enter cyber.
Yes. But I heard that cloud is really doing good. IAM is AC access and good platform. What's your call on it?
Again, it depends on the interest. Cloud security, I think everyone who's currently working should be aware of what the cloud is. Be it Amazon, be it Azure, be it Google, doesn't really matter. But you should know what the cloud is all about. You should know the different, infrastructure components that are out there in the cloud, so that you know what they do. So to understand them better, you have to have the basic cloud knowledge for sure, if you have to enter any. And at the same time, when you talk about IAM, yes, definitely you spoke about zero trust. Okay. So IAM plays a very, very important role, and we have to segregate different rules, give access permissions and stuff like that. So I think that's a big thing. But again, IAM directly, people entering into IAM might be, they might find it difficult to enter unless they have some prior or some basic knowledge on how the Active Directory works.
Right. And let's say someone related, कोई चाचा मामा था वो आपका call कर रहा है, and let's say क्या ये security अगर whether system wants to start a cybersecurity. Are you going to recommend them to go to the cybersecurity? आप recommend करोगे? तो पहले ये तो कि are you recommend them कि आना चाहिए cybersecurity में ये सुनो और आना चाहिए कैसा?
I would say to get at least certified or get the PC clearance certification and network, so that they know that we are in cyber, because network is very, very important these days. Everything is about networks. So if they are able to secure the network, they should be able to do anything else.
I told you this is what I'm learning now. So that was really amazing conversation with you, and really enjoying the entire conversation, to be very frank. And moving to the last part of the conversation, that is called rapid fire segment. So I'm going to throw some questions now in a moment. I hope you're ready for that. Okay. What cybersecurity myth you want to bust?
Wow. It's not just about coding, but it's also about GRC governance, risk and compliance.
Certification or real world apps?
Absolutely. Yes.
We are on the same track. What do you think is overhyped right now?
Well, I think it's more about the LLMs, which I think overhyped, and also about water computing, which I feel is something we still have time, to explore. It's still being explored, and other companies are coming in, big time, bringing it in the forefront.
Very personally, I would move that. One underrated tool every SOC team should use.
That's a good one, but I would say the Mighty Attack framework, the Navigator. I think that's a very underrated tool.
Dark web. It's a fascinating or terrifying.
I would say it is both. Fascinating if you are on top of it, you know what is happening. Terrifying if you're not.
Sure. Bangalore weather or traffic? Which is worse?
I would say weather. FEC does not.
Excellent. It's not cybersecurity. What would you be doing today?
If not cybersecurity, I would be tossing fast somewhere. Be part of crisis management or meters because, as I said, uh, I like to be under pressure. I like that operational heat that comes with it. So yeah, that's what happened.
Really, really, it's really nice talking to you. Like you, very, uh, you have the answers. Like which is, seems like really fine. The answer somewhere you wanted to talk about it. बहुत सुलझी हुई बात वो करने वाली आदत है आपकी. I really appreciate that thing. बहुत मजा आया बात करके आपसे. पता नहीं चला like the time we started and that moment we are in and the entire conversation. Mostly I really need the viewers find it very relevant because whatever we have discussed, max to max block list, expert in cybersecurity would be helpful for you to decide so many things in the market. And I hope that purpose what we have decided we cover up. Because I usually ask him when you come to know about the podcast, so what's first thing comes to your mind?
So the whole I told you that I'm not a big fan of podcasts. Like I think this is the first one that I did in a part of Fireside Chat, but I try to bring in some real-time experience of the freshers who are just out of college. They have this thing about running with the crowd and not realizing what the end goal is. So I wanted to bring that perspective. If anyone can learn something out of these discussions that they have, if they find a meaning within the conversations that they have, and if it helps shape their career.
Absolutely correct. So I hope what we decided did. It was a seriously amazing conversation with you. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you. And you guys, and do not forget to like and follow us and share our videos to someone who really, really need it. So thank you very much, guys. And you watching us.